Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Alpha Mega and Gross Germanisches Reich. So we are currently amidst several things, actually. We are currently trying to finish up the negotiations with Poland, which we will do in less than 3 weeks, hopefully. We'll see how that's gonna go. We are currently involved still in the great game with Italy. So far so good. We're actually gonna win a second round while they won the first one. And we are currently focusing on supporting the anti-Huttig cabal in the Großafrikanische Reichsstaat. Well, it's going to be fun seeing how that's going to go. As far as our economy goes and our reforms, we are doing kind of good. Social outlook is still conservative, but it's getting better. We are progressing smoothly. Our economic policy is liberal. Kind of good as far as that goes. We've also started to focus a bit more on our navy. We now have 17 ships which are drilling, which is good. We'll need to look into possibilities of changes though. I'm not sure what we can do with each of these ships. I have to investigate it as we're gonna go, but our dockyards are working at full capacity. We've also done a little reform of our units. The PGD Operationsgruppe still needs some work, so will the Panzer divisions. We've changed a bit the HPS operations group, and I think we've also changed the infantry divisions. Yep, we've added some military hospitals and some light armored recon companies. We'll need to figure out what we're gonna give them to make that combat with higher. Because artillery is a bit too much, but anti-air and anti-tank is too low. We might just give them anti-air and anti-tank, something like this. That could actually work very well, and it would probably be fundable, though we don't have enough in reserve. But we'll see. Still, got a lot on our plate before we go that way. So, with that said, let's unpause it. We'll see what the game is going to throw our way. Economy is still pretty bad, but remember we are going to start the Erhardt one very soon, after we are finished with the Poland, or with the Poles, or with the Polish, or with Poland. Depending on how you want to see it. I still wonder if we're gonna be able to integrate them into the Einheitspact, or if we are going to invade, depending on what's gonna happen with them down the line. So, State of the Reich. What I don't like is the regime stability, because it's not high enough, but I guess there's not much we can do with that. Consumer goods production efficiency 4 has been finished. That sounds amazing. Which one was that? This one. Okay, the next one is 1970, and we're doing all of the other things. Nuclear, construction speed, enables building thermoelectric plant. We're building this and that. Okay, so nothing there at this point. Naval targeting, naval AA attack. This would not be bad. What does this one do? Nothing, just the accidents. It doesn't give us anything, but this one gives us an actual improved asymmetric naval search radar. So let's do that one, so that we can equip our ships with it. Okay, nothing here. Still turn 3. Okay, one more day, and it's gonna be gone. An anti-Huttig cabal. Siphon funds and input. Okay, no, that would actually hurt the cabal strength. Cover up cabal efforts. The cabal strength is actually dropping really fast. Okay, 57.4. We'll need to throw in a bit more power once we can. So, pinning the blame. The Polish have requested us to reconsider the Nuremberg laws, or we've repelled those. They wish for more rights to be afforded to them, and this is where trouble comes in. Hostile reactionaries and their conservative allies have come forward with their protests, and Schmidt is still trying to stay on top of this. We must do something about it before the lid comes off for the negotiations. Status of the Nuremberg laws. Okay, investment for the future. And new round has started. So, how are we doing? Oh! Okay, we started with 8 and they started with 7. Remind Hungary who their friends are. 2 to 4 points. Remind them of their greatness. 2 to 4 points. Remind them of their sacrifice. 1 to 6. Spread anti-government propaganda. 1 to 3. And promote National Socialism. So the only thing that we can actually do is the anti-government propaganda. Because there's 66% chance that we're gonna hit the 9 or 10. And only 43% chance that we are going to lose. So let's see what they're gonna go with. Status of the Nuremberg laws. The end of the conference was in sight, and Schmidt for one couldn't wait for it. He had known that his decision would cause a storm of anger somewhere, no matter what he said, but he couldn't help but feel like this was going to be especially bad. His eyes, which had begun to glaze over with the endless conversation, snapped back to attention when they saw Wachowiak rise from his seat. Now, I understand we have already touched on the topic of the Nuremberg laws. Oh Christ, Schmidt thought. If there was something to fill his desk with angry letters, it was the Nuremberg laws. But we have only spoken of the excessive privilege that Germans held in Poland. What we haven't discussed is Polish rights, specifically how limited they are. As Wachowiak went through the list of limits on the Poles, Schmidt's thoughts turned inward. Once again, here was an opportunity to strike another blow at something that he had hated since the day he joined the job. The Nuremberg laws, an outdated weight on the ankle of Germany, one that needed to be cut off. In any case, he would not hesitate in cutting another slice into the laws. But now, the laws were the main legal guidelines for Germany's treatment of the Poles. Such a massive change would definitely be something Speer would like to know about, and that was what was holding Schmidt back. He did not know Speer's position on the issue, and despite how much he disliked the man personally, Speer was the one who controlled his job. To go against him too much might lead to his dismissal, something Schmidt couldn't allow to happen. So this was basically written as a prerequisite to the things that we have already done. So, Herr Schmidt, I ask you, Wachowiak finished with a flourish, leveling an accusatory finger at Schmidt's head. Is the Reich truly as reformist as it claims? Will you throw off the shackles that bind Poland? In for a penny. That is too much ask for now. Polish will strongly disapprove of this, or reformists will benefit from this, increase forced labor, policy effectiveness, increase penal system, harsh penal code, our poverty rate will begin to improve, we lose political power and stability. In for a penny. Well, so if I get this correctly, we are basically gambling with the future. And we are trying to use the Poles as the explanation on why we are doing it. It's kinda interesting. They have no factories and they have 60k in manpower. I mean, just this one army has about double strength of what they got. So they should really be careful with that finger they're pointing with, or they might lose it. An entire hand with it, and a leg. Okay, so you are all drilling. Experience progress. Wait, what? Forget? No. This is weird, this is looking like they're in a fight? What? Destroyer operating in lower Baltic Sea. No, they're training. Huh. This is weird. I never noticed that symbol before. Damn. Sorry. I'm getting a bit confused by certain things. So the Italians are trying to discredit the Arrow Cross Party. Propaganda campaign ended. Okay, well, time to start a new one. We have to do it here, the State of the Reich. Oh, we are stronger reformist now. Interesting. Okay, well, let's invest the money and launch the campaign. And we got the investments for the future, and now we can go with the Das Koenigsberger Abkommen. Investments for the future. The talks have moved on to the point about the state of the Polish economy and the difficulties of housing the people. It appears that the repatriation of slaves would unforgivably push the sorry position of the Polish into an unbearable corner, and it is up to us to see what we can do about the Polish requesting our fatherland for direct sponsorship. So we're gonna even pay them. Nice. I really wonder why we're doing this, what their plan is. I should have just threatened them and invaded them. That would have made so much more sense. But I mean, we're using it for good things. Polish budget. Before this conference wraps up, Herr Schmidt, we have but one more topic to discuss. Wachowiak carefully pressed forth with the last topic on his paper, catching Schmidt as he was about to rise from his seat. Schmidt froze for a second, his face momentarily betraying the stress this conference has put on him, before he sat back down and gestured for Wachowiak to continue. I love that this conference is basically the Polish people demanding stuff and us caving in at every point. Besides the infrastructure built for Poland to become the Reich's logistical hub, Poland as a whole was neglected by the Reich. Our infrastructure in most places fails. Our utilities are on the brink of failing. Our roads are dotted with holes and cracks. We're on the brink of a disaster, Herr Schmidt. Reich's coffers are certainly not empty. Perhaps you can send some funds to our new government in order to allow us to rebuild. I promise you, such funds would be spent on infrastructure alone, nothing more. Schmidt took a deep breath in and out. Of course they were going for the wallet of the Reich now, as if they hadn't already aimed daggers at the rest of the Reich's institutions. Schmidt wasn't opposed to it himself, he just knew that it would maximize the amount of angry paperwork he'd need to sort through in the next month or two. Thoughts of a raging spear clouded his mind. How many decisions had he already made for the Führer? How many of them had been directly against his wishes? In any case, it was the last decision to make, and then they would all shake hands and retire to their hotel rooms. Schmidt could only hope that his decision would be acceptable to the Polish government. Otherwise, this was going to be a mess for everyone involved. Random money. So wait, what does this one do? We will spend 0.3 billion. Okay, we benefit from this. Our poverty rate will begin to improve, so to increase monthly unemployment policy. Okay. Increases our GDP by 3%. Really? And we build hospital, school, infrastructure. So basically this is not giving them money but investing in them. There's no point in it. Oh wait, no, this is for Poland. I just realized. So we will get what? Nothing. We will just spend money. And that's that. Yeah. And there's no point in it. Decreases unemployment. Our regime stability will increase. Conservative cause in the Reich benefits from this. I'm not sure which way to go. This will cost us regime stability and money. And this will There's no point in it. I mean, 0.3 billion is pennies for us. The Ural League declared war on the People's Republic of Magnitogorsk. Grant the money. Let's just get it over with. Let's just get it over with. I mean, the outlook is progressing at 7.66 per 14 days. Yeah, we're really going at it now. Let's go with token political promises. We need to increase the regime's stability. I'm dropping deeper and deeper. Dang it, they get a straight 10. Well, now what? Because this looks like... Basically, we have only one choice. We can just go with the spread anti-government propaganda and hope that it's gonna work. If we're lucky, we're gonna hit the 10 as well. If we're unlucky, we're gonna hit the 9. And if we are very unlucky, we are gonna hit 11. In both of those cases, yeah, this is still the best choice. So let's spread anti-government propaganda. Hungarian people don't like to think about it, but they know their current government is incompetent. A little funding and some underhanded propaganda will see faith in the Hungarian government fall even lower. Okay, we'll spend a bit of money, but it looks like this round might be theirs. So the last one will most likely be the one that's going to decide. Unfortunately. Oh, but I mean, on the other hand, that's the best way to go. This is actually making stuff interesting this whole time. Okay, das Koenigsberg Abkommen. All the talks have come to an end, and only time will tell whether the Polish will agree to sign a treaty with our foreign minister at the city of Koenigsberg. Let us hope good things will come out of it. Should they succeed, this will be a historical moment in the reconciliation of relationships between our people and the Polish. If not, well, then an alternative will be taken into consideration. I'm not going to start with the Erhardt plan for now. We're going to see if they do something and if or what it will be. Okay, we don't have enough factories for those. It's not a big issue. We're upgrading the motorized. Building the trains. I think I might actually want to... Oh no, let's keep it as it is. We're gonna deal with it a bit later. So, ships. This one will be done on 20th of March. The treaty is signed. Hey, hell yeah. Okay. This is a bit weird. The treaty is signed. Television crews crowded the conference room. Reporters crammed themselves into every nook and cranny of the building, and the flash of cameras rattled like a machine gun. Schmidt did his best not to blink at the barrage. The last thing he needed on top of the inevitable storm he was going to catch was an unflattering image of him smeared across the front pages of every newspaper in Germany. To his right, Wachowiak sat and smiled, looking quite pleased with himself. Schmidt couldn't blame him. He was going home a hero, having taken on the German giant and wrangled a deal that Poland could get behind out of it. Schmidt was less enthused himself. He would be going home to a storm of conservative anger and, most likely, at least one or two tense meetings with Speer. Speer hadn't said anything about the terms yet, but some of them would certainly be enough to make him tear what remained of his hair out. And yet, at the end of the day, Schmidt was proud of himself. He had not only succeeded in his task, but he'd advanced his cause. Germany was on the cusp of entering a new golden age, and with Schmidt's help, he would make sure it would happen. With the treaty signed, who knew what could happen with the rest of Eastern Europe? Perhaps soon enough Germany could truly be first among equals in their eyes, not just a colonial overlord. And so, as Wachowiak put the pen to paper and signed his name on the treaty, Schmidt's expression turned into a small grin as he put ink to his own. The new golden age is almost here. So we strongly benefit from this, but we lose 10% of regime stability. Jesus, that actually really puts us low. Yeah, 39.4, we are... Okay, we'll need to hold a speech. So that's 2.5 and... Did we get the 10 already? Oh god, that's with the 10. So okay, we'll be at 41 once the speech is done. With the international community as our witness, our goodwill was proven true and Poland was not lost. So tensions with Americans decreased by 7% to 48 and with Japanese to 50. We get 50 political power but lose 10% stability. Change in popularity of paternalism and National Socialism increases by 5%. Koenigsberg Treaty signed. To wide international surprise, a diplomatic treaty between the Greater Germanic Reich and Republic of Poland has today been signed in Koenigsberg by Reich Minister Helmut Schmidt and Polish Representative Stanisław Wachowiak. Included in it are the official recognition of the Polish as a people by Germany and a plan for repatriation of Polish slaves within the near future. In turn, Poland is to be administered by a provisional government pending further negotiations and reintegration. Oh, okay, so they are going to be reintegrated into the Einheitspact. Okay, so at least we got... okay, so they're already there. Cool. This was missing from the information, but good. They are now part of the Einheitspact. So at least, well, okay, I got it. Then it's fine. Hailed as a diplomatic miracle by many, a large controversy nonetheless plagues the treaty, as it does not address the status of the annexed territories of Poland and has been met with strong disapproval by reactionary NSDAP members and several Polish leaders. Large protests, both for and against the treaty, took place in both nations simultaneously. Gottes Willen, Schmidt, what have you done? Let me see... Okay, the outlook is still progressing at the same speed, so that's not such a big thing. Anti-Hitler cabal. Okay, we can just go negative here. And the Italo-German great game. Oh, 3 more days until we see what's gonna happen. The Colombian Revolutionary Union declared war on the state of New Granada, and the Republic of Colombia declared war on the state of New Granada. Okay, Colombia is falling apart even more now. No, actually, no, yeah, there are some small nations. No, actually, those are the 3 original ones. They are now added. J.B. Kripalani becomes ROI Prime Minister. The Congress Organization Coalition has come to power in the Indian emergency general elections. So that's the Republic... that is the Republic of India? Yeah, okay, so the Republic of India has a new Prime Minister. Led by the J.B. Kripalani's Congress OS. Wait, did we... Okay. Now we need to go with the Erhardt's plan. Before I forget. They promised to adhere strongly to Mahatma Gandhi's original vision of a republic of 1,000 villages, focusing on rural development and self-governance. Spokesman for the party indicates that the general plan for the coalition will be for the Gandhians to focus on the rural majority in the country, while the rightists will focus on the urban areas and general economy, while maintaining the primacy of the organization Socialist, which carried the vote in most states. Meanwhile, the former Congress led by Shastri have not yet issued a statement. Already several key MPs that had formerly been associated with them have begun defecting to the Gandhians, indicating a seismic shift in the focal point of West Indian politics. Where this new government will go remains to be seen. And India true to Gandhi's wishes, but is it true to the people's? Okay, and Colombian civil war resumes. The armed peace in which Colombians have lived since a ceasefire was agreed in 1956 has ended as the three struggling factions, the central government, the Colombian Revolutionary Union, and the New Granada, have resumed their war operations following the escalation of the brutal skirmishes that started several months ago for control of the Atlántico department. What is to become of Colombia now is not known, but with the varying factions throwing peace out of the window, motivated by hatred, desperation, and greed, the country has been violently returned to the bloodshed of the 50s, and as the bodies begin to accumulate in the mountains, streets, and jungles, it might come to the day when people look back at La Violencia as a better time, as none is safe from the looming threat of death and the outreach of armies and militias across the scorched land. A peaceful solution always seemed impossible to begin with. Well, what can you do? Oh, hey, now we... No, we don't, okay. Still not getting enough there. So let's see what the 2 days are going to bring to us. Please be 10, please be 10. Please be 10. Well, I'd like to check the poverty rate, because socially... No, poverty is just skyrocketing. Even though that it should be quickly improving. GDP per capita is dropping, total trade is dropping. But the debt to GDP is kinda okay. And I think that this Erhardt plan is going to fix our economy pretty nicely. We got 9. Well, I mean, to give them this round is dumb. We can still try to promote National Socialism. It's probably the one with the highest chance, 25% that we might win this, 75% that we're gonna lose it. But compared to, 100% chance that we have now, I think that's still a good choice. So few people are followers of National Socialism in Hungary. Promoting our ideology in the region could strengthen our ties with the Hungarians, if we can get enough of them to follow our ideals. Sure, command power -20, why not? Civil war in Indonesia. Okay, well, it's something that we... Oh damn, that is really interesting. Wait, how did that break down? Permesta Military Council, Sulawesi Selatan, and South Sulawesi Emergency Government. Okay. And Unitary Republic of Indonesia, and Nanpo. Oh, the Japanese have intervened. Okay, cool. The long bubbling cauldron in Indonesia has finally exploded. After a brief disappearance from Jakarta, Vice President Mohammed Hatta emerged in Sumatra with a clique of rebel generals to lead the free government of the Republic of Indonesia. The free government's goal is to end President Sukarno's rule, which they see as dictatorial in light of increasing centralization. The PRIM seeks a return to the 1949 Hatta's Shahir constitution, which promises more autonomy to Indonesia's far-flung lands. The Free Government has also condemned what they see as Sukarno's overly servile attitude towards Japanese. As violent clashes break out all across the country, it has become clear that Japan has once again failed at preventing armed conflict in their sphere. Bullets fly across sleepy villages as brother fights against brother. The Indonesia Civil War has begun. We prefer independence with poverty to servitude with plenty. Pacific Allied. The Ural League has conquered the People's Republic of Magnitogorsk. Okay. The struggle for fate of Russia. The secrets of the mountain shall forever remain hidden from the world. The Ural League. Which one is the Ural League? Oh, here it is. Oh wow, you're a small player. A really small one. So, the Erhardt plan. Our new Minister of Economy, famed economist Ludwig Erhardt, is one of Führer's most trusted confidants. Though disliked by the NSDAP for his unorthodox belief in free market economics and liberalism, he is widely acclaimed as one of the most intelligent and astute administrators a Reich ministry has seen in years. Radicalism aside, Erhard has the Führer's full confidence and is about as popular as an economist could ever hope to be with the populace, owing to his concrete evidence for the wisdom of Speer's economic reforms. Erhard is also a man with a plan, or several. He has spoken in the past of abolishing price controls, constraining inflation, opening up foreign markets, and even abolishing slavery outright in order to give Germans more employment opportunities. And that's to say nothing of his proposed budget cuts for the Wehrmacht. Truly, the Reich has never seen such a radical within the halls of power. So, right now, not much is going on, but we'll get there. So, Trümmertruppen, construction speed, building repair speed, free repair, and poverty rate will begin to improve. Okay, here's a GDP growth. Yeah, all of these are GDP growths, but I think we're going to start with this one, because that immediately helps and decreases the inflation. Our credit rating will rise, okay. Our economic policy will become more liberal. Business taxes and economy will become more decentralized. Actually, speaking of that, what is this? This is a monthly one? Intermediate and rising. If we reach 100. Currently contributing to our program are deficit. So we get +6, +5 every month. Because I fear that if we're gonna get this one, it's gonna negate that. 7, 7, 7. Okay, and then we could go with the Schmidt proposal. 7, 14, 21. I should test it. I should really test it. Well, this one increases GDP. Our economic policy will become more liberal, more GDP growth. This one requires both of them. Schmidt's proposal beyond the Atlantic. This is rough. I don't know if it resets it or not, but let's start with the other ones, and we'll follow those and see. Though, actually, I think... No, that should take only... only... Yeah, we should be done with this in April. No, in 1st of May. Okay. Well, anyways, sorry about thinking about this out loud, but my problem is that I don't want it to reset it, because this way we could get to good and then exceptional. So let's hope that's how it's gonna go. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.